Needs to be. So in today's video, I'm going to be making some vintage primitive folk art inspired checkerboards using thrifted pieces of wood, items that I kind of envisioned that I thought would make cute checkerboards. And Amazon made it really simple because I could buy a pack, not just one stencil of a checkerboard, I could buy multiple. So that was pretty awesome. I was able to look for different pieces that I envisioned being able to make into primitive checkerboards. So as cute as this image is, I picked this up for $3 in somebody's retail booth. They were closing their retail booth. It was all 50% off. And it is cute, but I was looking for items that I could make old folk art primitive checkerboards. So those have been a hot seller for me here lately. So I have been on the hunt for boards, and I didn't just want to buy a new board from the home store, you know, your Home Depot, your Menards. I wanted to look for something with character that I myself didn't have to put any work into other than taking the image off. And I know this is cute. It is cute, but there's a reason it's 50% off. If it was so cute, somebody would have came up and snagged it way before me. And because I bought a stencil group off of Amazon for chalkboards, I picked up a couple more boards to do some chalkboard ideas with you all. So if you are new to the channel, my name is Yvonne and I love home decor. I love thrifting. I love looking for pre-loved secondhand finds anywhere I can find them. And I love to decorate my own home. I am a reseller. Along with my husband, Chris, we have 4 retail booths at a local antique mall. I sell on eBay, but I also love to look at things and envision them into something new to get them to be loved again. Because not everything is just ready to put into your home and be beautiful home decor. Sometimes it needs a little help. So I'm always looking to inspire others with my vision for the items that I make over here on the channel. So this image also is raised, so I need to get it flattened out. And I'm so sorry if anybody loved this. I'm sorry. Get that pipe down. Get all the green off of it. So before I start to paint, I'm going to protect this back side. I think this already has that primitive, looks like it's old type of piece. So I'm going to take time to take some masking tape. And if you choose to use painter's tape, that's fine. I have good luck with masking tape. I can buy it in like a 12, 24 pack off of Amazon. So it's very cost efficient to be able to use. And I really don't have too much problems with lead under or anything like that, as long as I push it down. So this is just going to stop paint from rolling over where I don't want to sand. And so that paint doesn't pool up around there, I'm going to cut off that excess tape. So now I'm going to be using DIY's Gypsy Green. Look at that yummy color. To me, that has an old-timey folk art type of color, and I just absolutely love it. I can't wait. So I am new to DIY paint, so bear along with me as I'm learning how to use it. So I just have a Stalemaster brush. I'm just going to brush it on. With the DIY clay paint, you can wet distress it, you can sand it, it's just personal preference of what you want to do. I'm going to go ahead and sand some of it before I do all my other details I want to. I've got 220 on my sander. just want to get it dusted off. But before I do my checkerboard, I don't want my checkerboard or any of my details to blend with the paint. So I'm going to go ahead and seal this coat in. So to seal this in, I'm just going to use a soft brush and a couple coats of Big Top. That's going to bring that color back alive. It'll probably tone down once it dries. So the pack of checkerboard stencils came with multiple sizes like this, or a little bit more contemporary like this. But as I said, there's multiple sizes, which was really cool. Even some super small ones that you could use just as border. I love that idea also. So yeah, very cost efficient when you have a lot of stencils that you can use. Well, cost efficient if you have a project that you want to use them on. So I like the idea of putting it down, this one down low, and then having some other decor up here. I thought that would be sweet. I want to make sure I haven't taken my tape off yet. Probably should do that. But I want to make sure that I, because this one already has a hanger to it, that I'm putting it the way that I need it to be hung. There's that. So I let my top coat dry overnight so I can tape these down and not worry about them moving around. So I'm going to go ahead and start using some fusions to do my checker color. Now this is going to be a dry brush, so I just have a stencil brush with a lot of the paint off. And after my first coat with the stencil brush, I know that I want it to be whiter than what it is. And you don't necessarily have to do the white. That's just what I'm choosing to do. I'm just going to use a makeup sponge for the next coat. Okay, let's see what we got. We got a cool little checkerboard pattern. Sticking with my folk art theme, I have the Iron Orchid decor stamps, the Pennsylvania Folk. And I really wanted to put two, but I don't know if I'm squishing them together too much. It is kind of neat that way. And then a little tulip. Deciding on, like, do I want like that? Decisions. Or I could do the couple little hearts because they're very folk art. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I don't want it all to be the same color, but I do want my birds to be black. Oops, did take those off. So I'm afraid that the ink isn't going to show up, so I'm going to make the decision and use some of the ink, some paint. Such a hard decision on what to use. Okay, here we go. Decision made. Ah! I think I am off just a little bit, but so one tail's going to be kind of hanging off, but you just have to do it. There we go. Woo. So I'm going to get it dried before I can stamp anything else. So for my next, I'm going to use some packing tape. Make little handles. To put it on. And then for this color, I want to do some fun color. I don't know if it'll roll out on here or not, but we'll see. Cool eyeball. The tape should hold just a little bit so then I could put the impression. Okay, now I gotta make the decision what I want next. I think I'm just going to reuse that same piece as long as the paint doesn't come off. And we're going to put them over here. So many decisions have to be made sometimes. I'm gonna try a stamper, see how that works. Such a little one for the brayer. No. Okay, I want to give it a light sanding because now all this would be raised and not flat, so. I want to add a little bit of the gilding wax paste in the rust color just to add a little bit more depth. Where it distressed, it'll pop it. See how it pops that right out? Oop, I thought I had the camera on, but I just sealed it back up with some clear wax. That way it blended everything. Of course, the clay paint then got darker, but as you can tell, as it's drying, it's lightening back up. But I just wanted to seal that patina in. As this is drying, I feel like these you can see, but this just kind of looks like a blob now that it's been waxed. So I'm going to go back in and paint it solid maybe, or paint on it a little bit more. So I decided, even after doing that, I just took some ink and I stamped that. And I think I'm going to do that with those. I'm going to bring those out a little bit more. I mean, I feel like once I waxed it, they kind of all faded away. So I'm just freestyling here. There. So what attracted me to this board, it is a newer board, but it's got some imperfections. It's a homemade piece, as you can see. I liked that it was cracked. I like the character of that. I know that's not everybody's thing, and a lot of people would fill it in, but to me, that's character. So I'm going to give it, because it's got a shiny top coat on it, we're going to give it a sanding also. It seems crazy to worry about the back of your pieces, but as a reseller and somebody who sells in an antique mall, that is one thing I constantly do. I'm looking at the back of pieces, so I want to make them pretty and look a little bit more vintage than being new. Okay, wipe this one down also. So even though I will be finishing off this back somehow after it's all said and done, I don't want to get paint to come over on the back. So same thing, I like to just protect those backs with some tape. For this one, I'm going, look at that. This is called Summer Crush, even though to me, it reminds me more of a harvesty orange, but hey, who am I to judge? I don't have my own paint line. The board's a little bit warped, so it wants to turn on me. So as I'm applying the second coat, I'm going to mist a little bit. This clay-based, the second coat will kind of grab onto, make it a little bit difficult to paint on. But if you mist it a little bit, viewer's tip, it goes on a lot better. So I'm going to go ahead and sand, not wet distress on this. I'm just looking for that smooth so I can get it sealed in before making my checkerboard. Going to lift them up on a board to be able to put the top coat on. Make sure there's no remnants in the crack. Using Big Top. So we now took the tape off, but we need to do a little bit of something to make that look like it's not such a new piece of wood. So I have some Effusion's aging wax. Let's see if this will darken it. Oh, I think that'll darken it up enough that it doesn't look new. Oh yeah, definitely, since it's raw wood. That's all we needed to do. Just make it look like it's been around for a while. Okay, that looks so much better. Now we can work on this part. And actually the same checkerboard that I used earlier is the one that fits this one. I washed it off automatically, some Clorox wipes. Yeah, so that it doesn't, yeah, that you can reuse it and it doesn't build up with paint and paint and paint. So I'm just gonna eyeball. So I'm going to try some tone on tone. I'm going to do sweater weather. And I think I like the sponge dabber better than the brush. I don't feel like the brush gets it any. If it matches too much, I can do something else, but I thought it would be fun to try tone on this one. I will be putting 2 coats, but I'm going to quickly dry. I don't want to hesitate over my plastic form with a heat gun for too long. Okay, so I'm going to take a peek before removing the whole form, because what if I don't like it? Oh, no, I do. I do like it. I don't know if you do, but I do. So now I'm going to add like a border around here, but in the corners I'm going to do just this simple little floral leaf in the corner. So I think I'm going to use Fusion's Bayberry to ink this little guy up. Okay. And then I think I want them a little bit solid, so I'm going to go back in and paint it. So you see that detail against the distressing. So I want to do a little border around here. We'll see how this works. So then I'm going to take another piece, and then like I said, it's just going to be a little line that I'm just going to be eyeballing. I'm going to be doing willow bark. Same thing with the sponge roller, or sponge, makeup sponge from the Dollar Tree store. The fun of like the folk art primitives is that a lot of times the colors didn't always make sense. They didn't have to necessarily be on the color chart of opposites that match. They just did it. We're going to go ahead and take those sharp edges off of the paint. Okay, I'm going to seal this whole board in. I'm going to use some of the Fusion's Tough Coat Clear. I've already used the big top on it and had to let it sit overnight. So I'm not patient to let something keep having to sit overnight. But I do want to make sure that I have everything. What if somebody really wants to use it as a checkerboard? I would just say it's decor, but that orange is fun. So adding a top coat, where it's darkened up the DIY paint is kind of like taken away from the tone on tone. It's still cute. I mean, I don't hate it at all, but I think it just needs a little bit more pop. And when I ordered some stars to do some flags, I also got these little crows. So I think I'm just going to stencil this little cutie on the middle of it, and then we can call it good. Remember, it's all about just having fun, creating. I'm just really going to eyeball where I think he needs to be, going by the squares. And then we'll just work from that. Guess that's not enough paint. Okay. Oh, much better. At least there's something there. take a little brush and get into that little space. Don't necessarily want to totally distress him, but I do want to make sure that he's not raised. Now I have this board, which actually was used as a cutting board, but I'm choosing not to sand off the cut marks. I loved this shape. That way you could put the checkerboard down here. You could put some wording, something fun up here, but I still wanted to have the character of the old board. So as I said, I'm not going to get rid of those cut marks, but I am probably going to paint both sides of it, because to stain it, like to make it look like old wood, it would just bring out the cut marks, and I don't really want to do that. So this is a project that I'll be painting both sides. Sticking with those primary folk arty primitive colors, we're doing Bohemian Blue in the DIY. And as I said, I'm going to be painting both sides of this. So let's see how it paints up. You just never know. Ooh, that is such a rich color. Now if I could just find an unpainted shaker box stack that I could paint up in these colors, it would be gorgeous. This one will be a little bit more fun because we got to do both sides. It is what it is. Okay, big top. Okay, one more board to go. I have these checkers, but then I also have this fun little sheep that I got, which is hard to see because it's blue, that I thought would be fun to put up here. So kind of like a double-double maybe. Or I could do this, still sticking with the checkerboard theme. There's that. And then you could do that. I kind of like that. Even if it goes off the edges a little bit. So, sponge dabber. And I am going to do all that. Just using the Fusion's Coal Black. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, now I'm going to put my little sheep up here. Kind of want him to have a black face, but that's not as easy to tape off, y'all. They don't give you much room. Like I said, they didn't give you much room to do that in. Okay, now I'm going to use, they have a little star in here. I'm going to go see if I can center it. Okay, that has turned out so super cute. Okay, I do need to, it's bumpy now, so I need to gently sand it. Okay, so I feel like the DIY paint just doesn't ever dry. I guess it takes 2 weeks, but I don't want to send this out into the world without sealing it in with something I know dries. I know that I'm sure that it does, but I'm just going to use some more of the Fusion's top coat. Might make my sheep a little blue. That's okay. I'd hate for somebody to get this wet and then never be able to get it cleaned off. So my sheep's a little blue. That's okay. That's what I mean. I just feel like it doesn't ever. I'm learning the product. But I need something to make sure that my item is sealed in and it's safe to go into somebody's home decor. If somebody wants to hang it, not make it a shelf sitter, I will just go ahead and add a little hanger to the back of it. Just these little hammer in ones because they're pretty lightweight. So yes, you have to bear with me, y'all, as I learn how to use the DIY paint. I love the colors, but I'm just trying to figure out, like, okay, so I'm trying to stencil over it, and then I wax it, and then it reactivates, and I feel like I'm still getting the paint onto my item. And I know I'm like, the 2-week cure time, I don't know about you all. I don't have time to have something sit around for 2 weeks. So I'm just going to try some different top coats, some different waxes with it and see what that does. I know that most times products are all made to work together, but I'm used to mass producing products and getting them out there and getting them ready to resell. And I'm sure that you all are. You know, I'm scratching my head trying to figure it all out. And I will. Everything that's new. It took me a while to figure out the milk paint, and the milk paint is one of my favorites now. I mean, I know some of my first pieces turned out like a hot mess, so I know that I can do it. And every time somebody gives me a tip, and I tried looking at other people's channel, but I got a little bit of ADHD, y'all. I need you to get right to the fact there, or give me the steps. A lot of times I pop down and the piece has already been painted, or they're doing a blend technique and they're doing some transfers or something on top of it. So if y'all can link me a video where they're just showing using the paint, I would love that, because that's time consuming to look up something when they're just doing a transfer and they're not, I didn't see them do the paint job, and I'm sure that they're out there, I'm just not finding them. So I hope that you enjoyed today's video, trial and errors, motivation of folk art primitive checkerboards, and I think they all turned out wonderful. Yes, after I got the orange on orange done, I loved it until I had to seal it all in. And then, so we're just going to add a crow to it. It's all about decor. It's all about having fun crafting, creating, using whatever your mind takes you to. And it's about doing an item until you love it. If you don't love it, sand it all off and paint it again. That's the most you have to do with it. Stencils are fun. Stencils are highly available now. You can buy them a lot of places. And once I've looked up something on Amazon, or our phones nowadays, you look up something and the next thing you know, you're getting tons of suggestions on things. So let me know down in the comments below, have I inspired you to look at secondhand finds in a new way? Are you a folk art primitive lover? I think these would be fun if you had a retail booth to add into, because they're fun little pieces of decor that you could add just about anywhere. So give me a quick comment down below if you are inspired to make any of these, even just for yourself. Just find a random piece of something that's just been laying around and just needs new life. So again, thanks for watching today's video. And as always, if you're part of our YouTube family, thank you so much. And if you're new and you're checking out this channel for the first time and you liked what you saw, please hit that subscription button along with the notification bell so you know when I've uploaded a new video. And we will see you next time, guys, and you can see what we're up to. Bye.